Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my 1GP to max set pay-to-play flipping series. Now this is by far my most ambitious flipping series, and it's getting more ambitious by the day. Now a max pay-to-play set may not sound that expensive, but unfortunately there are some extremely rare items that really bump up the price. At the current date, there are 3 items that are worth over a maximum cash tag on their own. The 3rd Age Druidic top and bottom and the 3rd Age pickaxe are all worth over 2.1 bill individually, which is kind of insane. This month alone, the 3rd Age cloak has gone up over 900 mil in value. I just can't catch a break. I mean, pretty much all of the rare items have been going up in price, and all of the in-market PVM items have been falling. Currently, our endgame goal is to get around 10 bill GP, which would be the most I've ever had. So that is all to say that we need to get some good work done today. As always, if you guys are enjoying the series, leave a like in the video. I always appreciate it. And for every 10 likes I get in the video, I'm going to be buying a Onyx Bolt E to add on to the end total. So far, we have 21,000 likes on the series so far, which means I need to buy around 19 mil worth of Onyx Dragon Bolts E. Thanks again, guys, and let's get started. So in the last episode, we finished off at a fairly sizable cash tag of 69 mil. Really good progress from the last episode, over doubling our cash tag, and that was off the back of a few really interesting item set combinations. Now we're going to jump right back in here with a very similar flip from last time. It looks like it still is very profitable, so we want to continue on with it as long as possible. Now that is going to be the Gilded armor set combination for the Gilded armor set SK. After doing a margin check here, it looks like there's around a 200 or 300k profit for every set we combine, which is still incredibly good. Now normally I will do a margin check after a 24-hour period of not knowing the margin. Things do change pretty quickly in the world of flipping, so it is good to have up-to-date information, and in my opinion it is worth eating a loss to make sure you have accurate information. So we're going to jump back in here with another 7 armor set combinations, so we'll get started with that and see how that goes. Well, another extremely profitable set combination, fairly quick and clean as well, only took around a day to do it. We ended up getting around a margin of 388k per set combination, which is incredibly good. After doing 7 of them, it profited us 2.7 mil, bringing us up to 72 mil already, just in around 1 day. Now obviously at a certain point, making 3 mil in a day is not going to be that good, but considering we have under 100 mil, I think it's still pretty damn good. At a rate of 3 mil per day, we're going to earn nearly 100 mil per month. Now because that worked so well, we're going to go back for another set combination of 7 Gilded Armor Set SKs. Okay, so just a bit later that day, and we actually managed to buy all of the precursor items. Very nice and clean, and we ended up getting 8 of all of them. As far as I'm aware, we're still primed to make around 375k in profit, so we're going to dump them in here for around 9.5 mil, and we're going to try to be patient. Okay, so unfortunately things did drop a little bit, but we still ended up selling them for a very good margin. Some of them we sold for around a 400k profit, some of them for around 300k, but in the end we ended up making actually around 3 mil on all 8 of the set combinations. So after just a few set combinations, that has brought us up to 75 mil already. Now unfortunately the margin has shrunk up quite notably, so we're going to move on to something else. So today I'm going to try to do a bit of research to find a new interesting flip, but while I wait, we're going to continue actually with a Gilded D'hide armor set combination. And now at this point we have enough money to try to buy 4 sets at a time, so we're going to give that a try. Okay, so it's actually a couple days later here, and we finally have a few things sold off. This took a long time, but we tried out a new item here, and that was the Dragonstone Dragon Bolt. We ended up doing 2 times the buy-in limit for a profit of around 814k, which is a very good return on investment. However, it did take quite a long time to flip back and forth. Also, we did have a few successful flips on the Gilded Dragonite set, not for a large amount, only around 500k per set combination. Probably not worth repeating, but that was another mil in profit roughly there, bringing us up to around 76.5 mil. Now, I wasn't that impressed with either of the items we just did, so we're going to try something entirely different. We're going to try buying Onyx Dragon Bolts. Right now they have a margin of 300 GP on them. They are incredibly expensive, but we're going to give them a shot anyway. So we're going to go for around 3.5 thousand Onyx Dragon Bolts and around 33,000 Dragonstone Dragon Bolts. Hopefully we'll catch a break on these. Now, while this flip wasn't horrendous, I mean, I would even say it's probably pretty good, because we actually made around 1.7 mil in profit on the Dragonstone Dragon Bolts, the problem is it just took so long. I do realize that I keep forgetting to put on the timer. That will be fixed in future episodes, but it actually took 4 days for that flip to come through, partly because I was just gone, so obviously couldn't really do anything about that, but it's a slow item regardless. Now, because that didn't go that well, we are going to be moving on to a bunch of completely new items. I have a ton of ideas here. Now, to start things off here, we're going to try out the looting bag note. Kind of a weird item, and it does have a fairly low buying limit. However, the margin is around 5k, and a perfect item, I think, in my opinion, to do overnight. Now, to accompany that, we're going to try flipping some of these really obscure teleport tablets. They have incredibly good margins on them. The problem is they're not that in market, so I don't really know how many of these are sold per day. But I mean, some of these items have margins of 500 GP on them, and they only cost like 2,000. So I definitely do think it is worth trying, because for every 1,000 teleport tablets I buy, I could make around 500k. Okay, so we have a lot going on here and a bunch of fairly successful flips. Again, though, it did take quite a while to come through. Another 3 days before we're even checking in again. Now, the looting bag note has been probably the most consistent and highest grossing item. We ended up getting 956k in profit just on the looting bag note. But what's crazy is even though we only bought around 500, 600 Apatol teleports, we actually ended up profiting 550k in profit, just because of how big the margin is on it. Now, to accompany that, we actually ended up selling just over 2,000 Lasar teleports for a mil profit, which is completely amazing. I mean, the margins on these things are completely bonkers. Right now, we're shooting for a 750 GP margin, so we're nearly doubling our money for every Lasar teleport we end up buying. So that is pretty damn incredible. I think there is definitely some money to be made here. But once again, the only problem is that it is incredibly time consuming. So going forward, we're going to try flipping the looting bag notes for around a 5 to 8k profit, Lasar teleports for 750 GP in profit, dig site teleports for around 400 GP in profit, and for the last slot here, we're probably going to go with the Apatol teleport, although apparently I'm trying to sell them for 3 mil each. That probably won't work. Now, once again, we have a pretty amazing flip coming through. The only problem is, well, this is 4 days later now. It's been quite a while. Now, that's not necessarily the fault of the item I'm picking. Other personal things came up, but just didn't have time to check offers as much. Now, with that said, though, we still made a massive profit on the looting bag note. We ended up getting nearly a 10k profit on 240 of them, which means that is a 2.2 mil profit on a looting bag note flip, which is pretty amazing. That was the only notable thing here. Anyway, we're going to try another item here, a brand new one I haven't tried before, and that is going to be, I think, our first piece of Third Age. So there we go, we successfully flipped the Third Age Kite Shield for a margin of 500k per Kite Shield. So a mil in profit just like that, and surprisingly, the Third Age Kite Shield is actually bought and sold fairly frequently. That didn't take that long to complete, and that is the mil in profit just like that. I'm pretty sure we broke even on everything else, but because the Third Age Kite Shield was so quick and profitable, I'm just going to go do it again, except this time we're going to try for 3 of them. Okay, well, just about 3 or 4 hours later, and we have successfully flipped another 3 Third Age Kite Shields for another 500k margin per item, which means that is about 1.6 mil in profit. On the Third Age Kite Shield, we were making a ton of money off this item today. Way quicker than I thought it was going to be, so we're going to try buying 3 of them overnight and see if we can repeat the exact same success. Now, unfortunately, no luck overnight. However, we are going to immediately flip into a different item here. We're going to try the Dragon Plate Body Ornament Kit. I've never flipped this item before, but right now we're shooting for a 900k margin. That is a very big margin, but the Dragon Ornament Kit is not that common. I mean, I have no clue how many are traded per day, but I would imagine probably only like 10 to 30 or something like that. So I think there definitely could be room to have around a mil margin on it, just because it's so rare. We're really experimenting with a bunch of different items here. We're also trying to buy the Dragon Kite Shield. Never tried flipping that before, but I think it could be worth our while. Alright, so there we go, guys. We have a flip on the Dragon Plate Body Ornament Kit. We ended up profiting around 600k on it. Not quite as much as I originally had hoped, but still a very solid flip for how much it cost. I also ended up flipping the Blighted Teleport Sack for around a 300k profit, which is pretty average, but I will take it. Now we're most of the way through February at this point, and I gotta say, February has been a month of changing either my strategy or just changing items a ton. I mean, we haven't really consistently locked down a good item for more than a couple of days. Every couple of days, completely new set of items. So carrying on with that trend, we are going to actually try directly just flipping a Dagon High robe set. Never tried this before, but it has a margin of around 300k right now, so I think it's worth a shot. Okay, so there we go, guys. A fairly successful flip, just straight up flipping the Dagon High robe set. No item set combination, nothing like that. We just made 1.2 mil directly flipping them back and forth. We bought them all for 10.7 mil and sold them for 10 mil 940k. So a really good margin on that, but once again, unfortunately, that margin is totally gone now. So now we're going to move on to an entirely new item, that being the Gilded Scimitar. Wow, we are getting such a good margin on the Gilded Scimitar. I think we're getting close to 500k, not quite. About 470k, I think, which means on just 4 of the Gilded Scimitars, we ended up getting 1.7 mil in profit. That only took us a few hours to flip those, and we could still theoretically flip another 4 of them without hitting the limit. So let's put another offer in for 4 of them and see how much money we can make. Alright, so we are finishing the month with a pretty successful flip on the Cape of Skulls. Today is February 28th, which means it is the last day of February. And I'm going to be finishing it off with a Cape of Skull flip for 1.2 mil in profit, only on 3 of them as well. We ended up actually getting a little bit over 400k in profit per item, which is incredibly good. And on top of that, we also got around 500k in profit on the Blighted Entangle sack. So the month is pretty well done, so I think it's about time to reflect a bit on how I think the month went. Now, we started off the month at around 55 mil and are ending the month at around 98 mil, which is around a profit of between 45 mil and 50 mil. Now, overall, I am a little bit disappointed how February went. Partly it was because I was gone for a large chunk of it. You may have noticed that multiple times there's like a 4 or 5 day gap between clips, and that was partly because I was struggling to find good items, but also more so I was just straight up not there. So obviously we missed a bit of time there, but still in the end we nearly doubled our cash stack in the month of February, which is still fairly good. I think actually still our most profitable item was the Gilded armor set combination, and that was mainly because I was constantly changing items in February, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it definitely led to a wide diversity of items. Now, of course, let's see if we can do better in March. Well, we managed to find an absolutely crazy margin on the Crystal Tool Seed. Kind of weird, but we ended up buying them for just a bit over 4 mil, and we've been able to sell them for around a 450k profit per Crystal Tool Seed, and these things buy and sell very quickly. People buy them pretty frequently to create the tool weapons, and they're a fairly common drop from the Gauntlet as well, so they're fairly in market, and we actually ended up flipping I think 10 of them already for around a 4 mil profit. I am really happy with that one. First day of March and things are already looking incredibly promising. Now the final item I want to experiment with today is actually another third age item. We're going to try the third age range legs for around 19.8 mil. Currently there's not that much data on third age items, so we're kind of making a bit of a guess here, but we're looking for around a 600k margin, which if we hit it, will make us a ton of money. Alright guys, so finally we have everything sold off and we can get an accurate picture of how much money we've made so far and our total cash stack. Now once again, we were able to get a very good sale on the Crystal Tool Seed, around 350k in profit per seed. That's about 1.4 mil in profit in total. Now unfortunately, we only managed to buy one of the third age range legs, or else we would have made a lot more money. We still managed to get a margin of 600k. Now, after having claimed everything, we have finally breached 100 million GP. I'm really excited to have that done with in the 4th episode. 100 mil is a very awesome milestone to hit, and going forward, I think things are just going to get quicker and quicker. Anyway guys, that is where I'm going to end it for today's episode. In this episode, we ended up profiting around 35 mil. It was a rough month, not gonna lie. We included around 30 days worth of clips, and 35 mil in profit, while not terrible, is not actually as good as, for example, when I was flipping the Trailblazer items. With that said though, I have a very good feeling about March and the future of this series. As always, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Now, before I go here, as always, I want to give a massive thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. A huge thank you to Brian Robinson, Cappy, Colin Corley, Timothy Chen, Guy Fox, Valhalla Lad, Ocelot, and Kush Patel for all subscribing at the Dragon tier of YouTube membership. Thanks again, guys. Also, big thank you to Yo-Yo Sub 89, Clack Clack, Need My Pills, Branton Griffin, All Things Gaming, Birdbot, and Base Titch for all being subscribed at the Renite tier. Thanks again. As always, if you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You can get access to my video release schedule, be immortalized in any of my future videos, and of course, get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time.